Good morning, my dear student. This is the second part of Unit 1, okay, of Let's Go Shopping. Now we will explain the rest of the new words, okay? The first word, ache, pain, okay? This is we talked in the previous part. Show mean performance. Show mean performance. When I say dolphin show, skating rink. Skating rink is a place where we can go skating on ice. So we say skating rink. Number 4, golf course. A place where we can play golf. Golf course is a place where we can play golf. Football pitch, a place where we can play football. We call the place where we can play football, football pitch. Number 4, man-made lake. A lake made by man. We called it man-made lake. Touch pool, a place where you can touch of the sea animals as dolphins. The show of the animals that you can touch dolphins, we call this touch pool. Okay. Attractions, places to attract tourists. A place where we can see tourists, okay, we call it attractions. Fountains, something that is found in the garden that shoots water into the air. Bungee jumping, to jump high. A time capsule, it's a container with things from a certain place and a time. It's a container with things for a certain certain period and a time in it. Dye means something used to color the hair, and sometimes as a verb. Okay, but the coloring of the hair, we call it dye. Teens, people who age from 13 to 19, teenagers. Okay, haunted castle, a large building with ghosts used as a matter of fun. We find this haunted castle sometimes in the fun fair. Down and dusk, these are opposite words. Down, the time before the morning and the day. Okay, but dusk, the time before the evening and the dark. Dawn and the dusk. Okay. Here our grammar today is about the passive voice. Okay, we took it before, but we will revise it. The passive voice, the form of the passive voice, object, verb to be, and the past participle of the verb. Okay, the passive voice is used to describe actions. Okay, when we don't know the action, when we don't know who does or did the action, we called it the passive voice. For example, my briefcase was stolen last night. We don't know who stole it, so we say my briefcase was stolen last night. When it is not important to know who does or did the action, the cars are taken to Europe every week. It doesn't matter who takes them. So the passive voice means that when we don't know who does or did the action, we call it the passive voice. Okay, here we introduce some example. For example, Sarah cleans her room every morning. Okay, here we change it into passive. Sarah's room is cleaned every morning by her. Okay, number 3, for example, they have designed many models, and many models have been designed. We can say by them or not. Okay, it's not important. Number 4, for example, I will type this report tonight, as this night will be typed tonight. Okay, as this report will be typed tonight. Okay, this report will be typed tonight. Okay. Now I'll explain the passive voice in detail. Okay, in the present simple tense, in passive, what is the form of the present simple tense in passive? Object is or are or am plus the past participle of the verb and the by and the subject. Here I have an example. For example, the teacher explains the lesson. This is the present simple. I want to change it into passive. I say the lesson is explained by the teacher. This is the present simple passive. Okay, the past simple passive. The form, object, was or were, the past participle, and the by and the subject. The same example, but in different form. The teacher explained the lesson. The lesson was explained by the teacher. Okay? Okay. The present continuous passive. The form, object, is or are, being with the past participle and the by and the subject. The example, the teacher is explaining the lesson. This is the present continuous. The lesson is being explained by the teacher. This is the present continuous passive. The past continuous passive. The form, object, was or were, being plus the past participle of the verb plus by plus the subject. Okay, the example, the teacher was explaining the lesson. The lesson was being explained by the teacher. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Present perfect passive. The form, object, has or have been plus the past participle of the verb and by and the subject. Okay. The example, the teacher has explained the lesson. Okay. The answer is the lesson has been explained by the teacher. The past perfect passive, the form, object, had been plus the past participle of the verb and the by and the subject. The example also, the teacher had explained the lesson. The lesson had been explained by the teacher. Okay. Any modal verb or the future in the passive form, object, any modal verb or the future plus be plus the past participle of the verb. Be plus the past participle of the verb, then by and the subject. Okay, as this example, here the teacher will explain the lesson. The teacher can explain the lesson. The teacher may explain the lesson. The teacher must explain the lesson. Okay, when we change it in the passive, I say the lesson will be explained by the teacher. Is it clear? Okay, we will answer some questions about this. Choose the correct answer. I think new schools be built in the next year. Here it indicates the future. Well, number 2, most food in Egypt is now from supermarket, is now bought. An old house, okay, when it began to rain, it's a passive, was being demolished. What when it began to rain? Okay, number 4, what were you doing? What were you doing? Past continuous. Number 5, a nice film when I came back home. Hina, passive in the past continuous was being watched. Number 6, what bus serve thousands of people every day? Public bus. Number 7, we need some paper, wood, and pens to make a miniatures of our school. Okay, we always have a great problem when our left, okay, left is broken. Okay, elevator. I bought this car for less than it's worth. It's a real bargain. Number 10, does, do, did, has usually go to the zoo every week. Number 10, does. Okay, rewrite. She is eating a sandwich of cheese. By here passive in the past in the present continuous. A sandwich of cheese is being eaten by her, and or we can't put by her. Number 2, who made these tasty sweets? Here passive in the questions. We use where. Who were these tasty sweets made by? Number 3, I was making a kite for him. A kite passive. A kite was being made for him by me. They are going to travel to London next week. Future using when. They will travel to London next week. Number 5, are they repairing the broken cars being؟ يبقى are the broken cars repaired. Are the broken cars being repaired? This is the present continuous. Are the broken cars being repaired? Okay. Here, rewrite. We have been reading these books for 2 weeks. I want to use these. Passive. These books have been read for 2 weeks. Number 2, Zaki used to smoke when he was that. It's a habit in the past. يبقى Zaki always smoked when he was healthy. Zaki always smoked when he was healthy. Number 3, they are giving me a present. يبقى I am being given a present. I am being given a present. Number 4, we began to draw this picture 2 days ago. 4, here we omit began and put the verb in the present perfect continuous. But we have been drawing these pictures for 2 days. Okay? Okay. This is the homework for today. Choose and rewrite. Choose. There are water everywhere in the park. Ali worked for hours until his feet became space are always crowded at Christmas. Edison invented the electric. Rewrite. May likes to go to the theaters. I want to ask with where. We discovered the way they used to steal the money is to want out. Fadi is playing tennis in the park. I want to begin with tennis. We wanted to use the telephone. I want to use make. Okay. Here we have the answer of the previous homework of the first part of this unit. Choose. She's like her mother. The answer of number 1 in. Number 2, she spends a lot of money on. Spend on. Number 3, Lake Nasser is a man made. Number 4, El Ahram is a local news. Egypt is full of tourist attractions. Number 5, El Ahram is a local newspaper. Rewrite. The teacher will explain the lesson next week. I want to begin with the lesson or this lesson. So this lesson will be explained by the teacher. Number 2, they go to the club twice a week. How often do they go to the club? Number 3, they have just finished their homework. They haven't finished their homework yet. Okay, that is the end. That is all for today. Thank you and goodbye.